So this week I came across a couple of articles that I wanted to talk about because I was grabbed by the headline. And one was called, it was from Yahoo Finance, and it indicated getting a mortgage hasn't been this tough in a decade. Well, of course, that caught my attention because I really wanted to see what the writer had to say about that. Why was this headline in place? What are they trying to tell us? Well, it turns out this article was about actually an index that was first created in 2012. And it's called let me find it here, the Mortgage Credit Availability Index. Now, this index was created, of course, as the name would imply, to monitor mortgage credit availability. Now, of course, you have to ask the question, so what factors go into mortgage credit availability, particularly to suggest that now getting a mortgage is much more difficult than it used to be? Well, one of the things that this index measures is the level of consolidation and reduced capacity in the industry. Well, right now, of course, that's exactly what's been happening with a big drop-off in real estate transactions, and in particular mortgage volumes with the lack of refis. There's been lots of consolidation in the mortgage industry, reduced capacity with layoffs, et cetera. So that obviously can be a factor in terms of availability of mortgage credit. Now, the other thing is that this index is supposed to measure some things like pullback of like loan to value and lower credit scores. In other words, the idea that lenders are pulling back on lending for scenarios that involve very high loan to values or minimal down payments and lower credit scores. Well, what's interesting about that is if you look at those two bullet points, these factors, well, I'm here to say I would argue that it probably has more to do with the consolidation and the reduced capacity in the industry. Why? Because of the fact that mortgage rates are now more than double what they were, in the last, basically since 2021. So with that being said, the other thing I would want you to know is this article did point out that the recent credit score controversy, where higher credit score borrowers were paying more, lower credit score borrowers were paying less, that was not a factor. That's not part of how this index is measured. So that was not pointed to as a factor in the conclusion of this index, at least where this index is right now. And by the way, the reduction in the mortgage availability, mortgage credit availability, wasn't by huge amounts. It's about 2 to 3%, so not substantial. So one thing I just want to leave you with is don't get too caught up in this headline thinking it's really gotten tough to get a mortgage. Now, other than the fact that it's a little tougher because rates are higher, payments are higher, we still have to meet those debt ratios. I will tell you that with all the basic programs available, conforming and government, so we're talking Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, USDA, the loan to values are still at 97 for conventional for a first-time home buyer, 96.5 for an FHA borrower. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. USDA, if you're eligible based on income size and so forth, zero down payment is still available. So all the basic programs are still there. Are some lenders maybe creating some overlays to tighten a little bit? Yeah, they're out there. As a broker, we have access to many lenders, so we can help you get around that and make sure you're not dealing with or getting terms that are reflective of lender overlays that diminish the kind of terms that you're able to get. So just keep that in mind.